Cleopatra's relationship with Caesar gives her immense power and immense possibilities. But it's all blown apart.
On March 15th, 44 BC, Caesar is assassinated by a group of senators who are worried that he is seeking to install a monarchy. This throws everything into disarray for Cleopatra.
Caesar is dead. They murdered him. You're not safe here anymore.
For Cleopatra, this is a disaster beyond reckoning. Suddenly, her patron is gone. Suddenly, her position in Rome couldn't be more precarious.
Cleopatra has gone from being as secure as she has ever been in her entire life to overnight, she finds herself under threat and her entire position called into question.
Soon after the brutal murder, Mark Antony presents Caesar's will to the Roman public.
To the people of Rome, I leave 75 denarii each. The rest of my estate will fall to my principal heir, Gaius Octavius.
The big winner in Caesar's will is his grandnephew, Gaius Octavius. He is named as Caesar's heir to most of Caesar's fortune, and Caesar offers him posthumous adoption.
Caesarion's mere existence is a threat to Octavian. This puts Cleopatra in an extremely uncomfortable and dangerous position.
Fearing for her safety, Cleopatra flees Rome for Egypt.
Cleopatra's possible second pregnancy seems not to have had anything come of it. There's certainly no birth recorded.
With Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra realizes she can no longer cultivate dependencies with those above her. She has to get others dependent on her from a position of advantage.
Caesar's death leaves Cleopatra again exposed to her greatest rival. Her sister Arsinoe, who Caesar banished to the Roman-controlled city of Ephesus.
Arsinoe now thinks it's her chance to stake a claim to the Egyptian throne.
Arsinoe reaches out to some of Egypt's priestly class who recognize her claim to the throne over Cleopatra's. And she quite likely colludes with the now 15-year-old Ptolemy XIV, who is Cleopatra's co-ruler.
With Arsinoe deep in Roman territory, Cleopatra cannot strike back directly. So she tries a different tactic.
So, what great prize did our sister promise to win your support? That one day you would rule together as equals.
Shortly after Cleopatra comes back to Egypt, Ptolemy XIV disappears from the record. Many historians believe that Cleopatra poisoned her brother.
Cleopatra was famous for her knowledge of poisons, and supposedly she even tested poisons on prisoners.
Removing this base of support from Arsinoe, removing the potential threat. This is what she has literally been raised to do, which is to backstab her siblings. She is having to rule and to plan and to plot to turn herself into an iron-fisted monarch.
In 44 BC, after 7 years on the Egyptian throne, Cleopatra finally gets what she's been striving for: absolute power.
With the death of Ptolemy XIV, an opening has been created for Caesarion to be installed alongside Cleopatra as co-ruler.
Having Caesarion as her co-ruler is really perfect for Cleopatra because he's a baby. She controls him completely.
By making her 3-year-old son king, Cleopatra tightens her own grip on the throne. For the next 2 years, she rules over a stable Egypt. Meanwhile, Rome is in chaos.
The assassination of Julius Caesar precipitates a horrific civil war in which Mark Antony, Caesar's trusted general, and Octavian, Caesar's grandnephew, join forces and pursue the assassins across the Mediterranean in order to bring them to justice.
After the defeat of Caesar's assassins on the battlefield, Octavian and Antony split the empire between them.
So Mark Antony controls the eastern part of the empire, which includes Greece and Syria and Turkey and Libya. Octavian rules the territories to the west, like Gaul and Spain, and he's basically close to Rome, where he can cultivate his image.
The alliance between the two men is anything but natural. They are rivals. Neither one has any reason to trust the other. And the Roman world is holding its breath, wondering when the two of them will come to blows.
In order to shore up his position against Octavian, Antony decides to engage in military campaigning. This, for the Romans, is the classical way of getting ahead. This is a way for Antony to stay in the forefront of Roman politics. To do this, though, he needs resources, and so, as many Roman generals have in the past, he turns to Egypt, believing that there shouldn't be any problems with him getting whatever food and manpower and resources he needs.
Cleopatra sees in Antony's need for funds an opportunity. As opposed to hurrying to donate, she thinks how she can negotiate. She wants something from Antony.
Majesty, your presence is requested in Tarsus by General Mark Antony.
Requested?
Demanded. He doesn't have time to meet with intermediaries.
Neither do I.
Antony, who is based out of Tarsus in Turkey at this point, sends several letters to Cleopatra summoning her, and she refuses to respond and to visit him.
This is a huge bet on herself. Mark Antony now has to come begging Cleopatra for money, which is a remarkable rise for a woman who once hid to meet Caesar in a carpet bag.
Cleopatra knows she can put Antony off for the short term, but in the long term, she realizes that she has to have the Romans on her side.
When Cleopatra finally comes to Antony, she comes to him not as a subject, bringing money or tribute or taxes, but as a sovereign over a great power meeting an equal.
Cleopatra is a master of political theater, but even Cleopatra outdoes herself with her appearance in Tarsus. She comes in on a barge. The sails are purple, the barge is painted gold, the oars are made of silver, the oarsmen are keeping time to the sound of flutes, and in the midst of all of it, Cleopatra is dressed as Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of beauty, pleasure, and fertility.
She has to charm him, she has to form an alliance with him, and she knows that the best form of alliance is a personal one.
Please.
Antony was a partier. He was a ladies' man. He liked to drink, he liked to gamble, he liked pleasure. And so she's really speaking right to Antony's soul.
You certainly drink more than Caesar.
I have 60,000 men waiting to be paid. Must we talk all night about Caesar?
I might be able to help. If you fix one of Caesar's greatest mistakes.
Cleopatra agrees to provide Antony with gold and grain for his army, but not without conditions.
In exchange for all she's doing for Antony, Cleopatra wants something in return. She gets Antony to agree to Arsinoe's execution.
As ruler of Rome's Eastern Empire, Antony controls Ephesus, where Arsinoe lives in exile under Roman guard.
Political violence is a necessity of Cleopatra's position, both as a Ptolemaic queen of Egypt, but also as a player in the Roman Republic. She exists in a world where power is a murderous game. And it's either a case of kill or be killed.